You. What up? All right. We got another one from Louis C.K. Louis C.K. And this is him on Walmart. On Walmart. Okay. I mean, we've seen stand up from Louis C.K. Seen him on podcasts. Heard him talk about movies. Now he's talking about Walmart. Walmart. They got everything. Walmart got everything. All right. Let's go.
And it's not the fault of some corporations or Donald Trump. It's like Walmart kills all small town economies. But it's not Walmart's fault. It's the fault of the people. I used to have a house in upstate New York, and there was a town that had these beautiful old diners and general stores, and they all closed one by one because of Walmart. But it wasn't Walmart's fault. It was the people that lived in that town that don't give a shit about their neighbors.
But is it giving a shit?
It's the American basic consumer who's like, well, okay, I could spend 13 cents less on a mop.
Yeah.
So neighbor. My neighbor who's had that store in his family for, who's taken care. There was like a million George Bailey moments in that town's history where I'll give a check to your, baseball teams with names, John's General Store.
Right.
Yeah. Like the whole community coming together to do stuff.
Yeah.
I want to buy a Jim Carrey movie 3-pack for $7. So old movie theater with a Wurlitzer organ.
But think of Blockbuster Video. Now that caused a big thing because it pretty much closed down all the little mom and pop video stores,
which was a great family business.
Which was a family business and shit like that. I remember those things and having to go in and you'd have to buy a membership fee when you first get in. When it was like $100,
and that was just to try to keep the stores,
to keep the store open. But then Blockbuster came around. Now what do you want to do? Go into the mom and pop and wait a week for the latest release?
Yeah, why don't you? Why don't you wait a little bit?
I want it now.
The family that opened that store. Yeah. And by the way, that they used to think about what movies you might like. That you might walk in and they go, Anthony, you like comedies.
Anthony, we got a whole section for you.
Do you even know
Remember
who
that conversation
Francois
we had?
Tati is? And they'd show you something that we went and found this. Blockbuster would never do that for you. Them.
I agree with both of you, but
so that you can
the local,
save a little bit of money.
The local place that Ann's talking about, you had to wait for some asshole to bring back the nice new movie.
It's out. It's out. It's like,
when is it coming back? I want to watch that.
Yeah.
So again, and then Blockbuster said. The Blockbuster said, "Look, we could just put 100 copies on the shelf."
So you're thinking the whole loyalty thing should outweigh the convenience?
Absolutely, because you're supporting somebody who is, there's a human being and a family who's living off that business, and they give a shit about you.
But
by the way, where's Blockbuster? It's fucking gone. So they leave a vacuum. You can't rent a video anymore.
Yeah, but why would you? Digital delivery.
If there was video stores, you know why? It's like bookstores. A bookstore is not just a place where you can buy books. It's a place where somebody expresses themselves by deciding what books to put out there and what books they want to offer their community.
Right.
And that gets replaced by Barnes & Nobles, which means you get the same books that every place in the world gets. I mean, not just America.
Right.
Every bookstore has exactly the same books now. I mean, that's people don't realize what a massive... It used to be, you go to that bookstore, you're going to get some weird off-color books of this kind, or you're going to get maybe a right-wing bookstore, a left-wing bookstore. That used to be how people... And then so Barnes & Nobles comes, and the difference is a family business will hang on through the tough years if they have half a chance.
Yeah.
But a corporate business will go, we're not making it $10 trillion, just pull up stakes. And they're gone. So now there's no more bookstores.
That's amazing.
Or video stores. Yeah.
No bookstores, no video stores.
Right. The big Barnes Noble on the Upper West.
But because those are predatory busineses.
Given your thinking, though, wouldn't we never progress? Like,
who's progressing? That's
with everything. Like, wouldn't we not look at the automotive business, which is horrible now, of course, because of the outsourcing and everything. But early on, there were guys working those lines. What about the technology to come in and use robots that did eliminate jobs, but it makes the car better and faster and
yeah, but that's exactly the thing. These things like bookstores and video stores, though, they weren't improved. They were destroyed. And a book is not a car. It's not a product that needs to be perfected like a technology. It's about having a way of life.
But now you just download it on Kindle.
Yeah.
Like
no, exactly. But it's rubbed out a whole getting out of your house and going to a bookstore and meeting the bookstore guy and other people. You used to get laid by going to bookstores. A way that people used to get laid is by going to a bookstore and standing in a section that makes you look smart.
Bookstores?
And then a chick comes around.
Yeah.
Oh, do you also like this
Really?
book?
Oh, sure. I'm perusing this.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore. When I grew up in Boston, and there was a place in Harvard Square called the Coffee Connection, and this was a place that was obsessed with coffee, and they had coffees from all around the world, and they'd have stuff like you'd get like a cappuccino, and they'd shave chocolate onto it, not like a canister of chocolate powder.
It took time. I mean,
they had a cheese grater and a block of chocolate, and they'd shred chocolate onto the thing for you. That's like how good it was.
You sound like my grandfather.
No,
grandfather talking to me. You don't even understand the old days.
I know the point he's about to make.
You'd go to the Coffee Connection and you'd sit there like trembling, and they'd bring you this thing that would just change your life. Or they'd go, "Hey, you want to try Turkish? We have a new Turkish coffee today. It's a weird thing.
Sounds good.
Never tried it." So then Starbucks opens down the street, but this Coffee Connection hangs on. So Starbucks opens another one, like on the other side of them. Starbucks isn't doing so great that they can open another one. They're just trying to kill.
Oh, shit.
So they open like 5 within a block of the place until Coffee Connection goes, "This is getting hard." And they sell themselves. They go, "Let's just be a Starbucks."
Yeah.
So then Starbucks buys them and then closes the other ones, and then you're just left with just one choice. You get Starbucks.
And the quality of Starbucks is horrible.
It's
now.
okay. And the instant
was all
Starbucks
right
isn't
when they
making
first-
a profit, they'll give up, and then there won't be a place to even get coffee.
Right. Then we go
Harvard.
back to having no coffee again.
No coffee.
He's right.
So
I remember the lumber stores. I remember we did a lot of renovation on our old house because we had 7 kids, small house, and we were constantly adding rooms and this and that.
Mom and Pop lumber shop.
Mom and Pop.
Yeah.
I would get in the car with my dad. I remember like it was yesterday. We go to the local lumber guy. He knew my dad's first name. We got this for you. We made your pile. It's
Putting
all
a dormer
set.
on the house, are you?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to need some of that. No, I'll come over here. I'll help you out. You need that for the joists.
But it was a social thing too, man. How are the kids?
Lumber
and how are
stores
your
were
kids?
very social.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the Home Depot. It's a massive warehouse, and no one wants to help
humane.
you.
You're
And
just
there's
mad right when you
sad
walk in.
people working there.
Right.
The buying of the lumber is not a happy exchange. It used to be that you could say to yourself, you know what, if I invest in a good saw and I get some trucks, I could go out and get some poplar and cut it well, and people will come here and build houses with it.
Yeah.
And you go and you go, hey, you got some nice poplar, not as good as Joe Wilson's. Yeah, well, mine is down 3 cents.
Right.
Well, I'll buy yours. This was like and by the way, we
Ingalls.
don't improve through this shit.
No.
We actually don't. It's like it's what happens is the second place product always wins by being more vicious.
To
Like
over
Microsoft versus Apple.
Right.
Microsoft is bullshit software. It's hard compared to Apple.
I know, believe me.
It's horrible, but Bill Gates is a capitalist, and he was vicious, and he fought Apple, and so for some years anyway.
Yeah.
America lived on shitty computer technology because of his
There was a point where
ambition.
we all thought Apple was gone.
Yeah, it's VHS versus Beta. Beta
Yep.
is still used today.
Yeah.
Beta videotape is still what most TV shows are shot on.
Yeah.
And we all watched VHS tapes because the VHS people said, we make the second best, so we're going to be cutthroat and pay off people and go to litigation and like sue Beta. And Beta's like, we're making the best kind. We can't even get people to buy it.
Yeah.
And so everyone gets VHS.
Unbelievable.
This is Tesla and Edison. It's
Edison
always
and Tesla, yeah.
One guy's a genius and selling a beautiful thing. The second place guy copies it, doesn't do it as well, state in America, and muscles him and fights him and outdraws
Ruins his
him.
credibility.
Gets some Texan to pay for it. And then we all have to buy the shitty product.
You're Brilliant.
It's true. It's the same with cars. They would be better if what you're saying was actually true.
If it was like the guys still on the assembly line.
Your coffee story is deeply depressing.
It is. What happens everywhere.
I was thinking, as you were talking about that, like the Starbucks popping up are like weeds.
Yes.
Taking out the really nice crop.
Yeah,
nice
that's
flowers.
what they do.
They're
only
just
interested
putting
in
weeds all over the place to destroy it.
Louis right. Louis is right. Yeah, Starbucks, Walmart, Blockbuster Video. They're all the same. They want a monopoly on whatever product they're selling. Coffee, movies, all that. All that. Man. Yeah, I remember Blockbuster Video. I don't think I've ever had like a membership there, but I used to rent movies all the time. I guess you have to have a membership. Maybe it was like under my mom's name or something. But I used to be in there all the time. Blockbuster Video was the spot. Man. And that is like, you had to wait. You know, they only had a certain amount of copies, so you had to wait for somebody to bring a movie back before you can actually rent it, or you had to wait until they had, you know, a certain number of copies for them to rent out. Damn, that did suck. That would suck. Like I don't agree with Louis on that. Like the mom and pop store, the mom and pop video place versus Blockbuster. I mean, you still had to wait at Blockbuster, so I imagine you had to wait extremely long at the mom and pop store. They probably only had like 2 or 3 copies of a movie. And what if somebody forget to bring it back? They get late fees, but nobody else can rent it. So they're going to Blockbuster or Hollywood Video. I remember Hollywood Video. So it was really Hollywood Video versus Blockbuster. And Blockbuster beat out Hollywood Video. And then you did have the mom and pop stores, but but then Blockbuster got beat out by like Netflix and streaming and shit. Like Netflix didn't start streaming. They started like delivering. You could just order a movie and it'd be delivered to your front door. But I mean, even that seems like ancient. Having a physical movie delivered to your door to rent, and you were renting that movie. And then you had to send it back. And then they had Redbox where you just went up to the box. I think they still got Red boxes. But DVDs. Just stream it. You can just stream it now. A couple clicks of a button. Times have changed. Times have changed. I think they've changed for the better. Ain't nobody got time to wait. I mean, it's so many movies out. You wait so long to see a movie. You wait for a tape. If they still had like Blockbuster and stuff like that, where you had to wait for a tape to come back before you could rent it. You wait so long to rent a movie, and then it's horrible. There's so many bad movies out that I wish I'd never seen, or I never went to the movies to see, or I never wasted money. I'd hate to waste my time waiting for that movie. Patiently anticipating a bad movie. So. But yeah, the click of a button, you got any movie you want. Any movie. But yeah. Barely talked about Walmart in there. I thought they was going to talk about, like the people of Walmart. I think he kind of did, But, he could have went in depth on that. It's a lot of different types of people at Walmart. I guess like different times of the day, you get different types of people. In the morning, you get like the older people. I've been in the morning where I've seen old people just walking. I guess old people that's just like a space they go to walk. I've seen old people like walk in the mall and when it's empty and walk in Walmart and just big stores. That's the morning crew. Afternoon, I don't know. Late night and like in early morning, not early morning, but like in the middle of the night. That's when they come out. That's when the freaks come out. But yeah, Louis didn't get into that. He didn't get into that.